Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Triangulation is brought to you by Cashfly at CACHEFLY.com. This is Triangulation, episode 161, recorded July 28th, 2014. Dennis Thresh Fong. Triangulation is brought to you by Prosper. Prosper is a peer-to-peer lending marketplace that connects people who are looking to borrow money with those who have money to lend. Visit prosper.com/twit and receive a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get a loan. It's time for Triangulation, the show where we bring in some of the most interesting, talkative, intelligent, insightful people in technology and sit down and spend an hour with them, and this is going to be a fun one. And it is somebody that you may remember from the screensavers round about the year 2000. Let's play some of that video. I'm probably doing this illegally, and I'm sure we'll get a takedown.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here with another nifty Quake tip from Jonathan Fatality Wendell. It sounds like a biker name.
There's Fatality, but if I scroll in a little bit, we might meet somebody there. Dennis.
I used to play tennis.
Except you won a Lamborghini or something for it, didn't you?
I won a Ferrari playing it.
Thresh Fong. Dennis Fong is our guest on
Hello.
Triangle. You're right. You haven't aged at all, Dennis.
I think I actually look older in that video than I do now.
It's the glasses.
Yeah.
It's so great to talk to you. I am thrilled to get you back on our cameras some years later. It was 1997 that Thresh proved to moms everywhere, I can make a living gaming. He won in 1997, won a Quake tournament, and in fact won. Didn't you win Dennis Carmack's Ferrari?
I won John Carmack's Ferrari.
John Carmack's Ferrari. You're Dennis. I'm John.
Yeah.
I'm Leo. John Carmack's Ferrari. Do you still have that?
I kept it for about 10 years.
Wow.
In the 10 years, I probably drove it 36 times at that. And then I just sold it because I was tired of maintaining it.
But what a great memory, I think, for you. And of
Yeah,
course
a lot has changed. A
yeah,
lot has changed.
It made your name.
In esports.
And what's great about Dennis is he didn't just kind of sit back and live on his notoriety as a gamer, professional gamer, but became an entrepreneur and quite a successful entrepreneur. And you've started how many companies?
4 now.
4 companies. You're right now sitting in the headquarters of your latest company, Raptr, R-A-P-T-R. You were editor-in-chief at Firing Squad. You wrote a column for PC Gamer, authored some Quake strategy guides, but were very smart, and you started Lithium Technologies, which was a social CRM platform. Kind of an interesting idea. Xfire, an instant messenger for gamers. Viacom bought that in 2006. And Raptr, which is a social network for gamers. Dennis, welcome to Triangulation. It's great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. It seems like social is a big part of what you've been doing post-gaming.
Yeah, actually, all 4 companies that I started were related to community stuff. I've been involved in online communities basically since the BBS days, in the early days of the internet, and so I just have a passion for it. Obviously, the gaming community in particular is one that I've been a part of since practically the very beginning, both as a pro gamer as well as an entrepreneur. So, yeah, I just have a love for connecting people, which is ultimately what social is about.
I ran a BBS myself, a Fido BBS in the early 90s. And there is something that inspires you to, and that's when you first realize, wow, this is pretty cool. That you can...
Yeah. I mean, I got into it just purely out of passion, not because I thought that you could make money out of it. But I've made a lot of friends in gaming. In fact, people that I've worked with, even at Raptr today, are people that were on my Quake team, as an example.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, long history of people kind of meeting friends through gaming and then becoming real life friends and sometimes professionally as well.
You were born in Hong Kong, moved to the U.S. when you were a kid.
I moved to the U.S. when I was 12.
12.
So yeah.
And where in the U.S.?
I moved to the Bay Area, actually, in Los Altos.
So you're still here?
I am.
And let's see. So when was that? What year was that you moved here?
Sheesh.
90s? Early 90s?
Yeah. 80s. 1980. Sheesh. 87 or something like that. 89.
So video gaming in 89, I guess Doom came out right around then, didn't it?
Doom, I think, came out around 93.
93, okay. So video gaming, when you first came here, wasn't... It was, of the Pitfall kind of thing. Were you into games when you came here?
I was. I think I was. The game that really got me hooked was Street Fighter on the arcade.
Yeah.
It's kind of before the days of online gaming.
A lot of quarters.
Yeah, a lot of quarters. So I won a few tournaments in that, and then Doom came out, and my brothers and I just got hooked on that one. And that's really what spawned it all. Actually, even before that, maybe it was the MUDs, the text-based MMOs.
Really? You did MUDs? Wow.
Yeah, I did. That's why I learned how to type really quickly.
Multi-user dungeons. These were kind of a takeoff of the original text adventure games, except that they were in real time. A little D&D, maybe too. And it was like a chat room with a mission.
I would say EverQuest, World of Warcraft were kind of based loosely on MUDs.
Right.
I mean, it comes from a Dungeons and Dragons kind of background,
right.
But it was, I think, one of the first, if not the first, real, true, massively multiplayer online games, except there were no graphics. It was all text-based, which is why you have to learn to type really fast, because someone could kill you if you type too slowly.
fast as you can. Are you playing these on a 300 baud modem, or how are you playing this? Is it in '89? Yeah. I guess it could have been AOL. I guess.
You would do it through AOL. You would use Telnet from. I think we were using a 1200 baud modem or something like that back then. Obviously, we started graduating up. I think when I was playing Doom, it was on a 2400 baud modem.
Ooh.
That was really old school.
When Doom came out, it was kind of a revelation. It was like, first of all, it was very dark, had that kind of Nine Inch Nails-y soundtrack. Later was, in fact, Nine Inch Nails, and it had this kind of such a fast pace compared to anything we'd experienced before. Did you naturally take to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think anyone that actually, back in those days, played Doom would take to it, just because. And it wasn't really because of the violence, but it was just the first time you could be running around online with another person, and whatever you're doing is happening in real time. That obviously is pretty normal today, but back in those days, that was the first real game that you could actually experience that.
It was mind-blowing. It felt like...
It was mind-blowing.
It felt like it was slippery. It was so fast. And I think you may owe a little bit to your brothers. You played against your brothers?
Yeah, I think part of what our advantage was, so my dad worked at HP for 20 plus years, which meant that we had 5 computers at home that were networked all the time.
Way ahead of the game.
So yeah, we got to play against each other, whereas I think most people were practicing against, the AI. We'd play against each other every single day. So by the time that online gaming actually happened and we'd log in, we were way ahead of everybody else.
People used to say that you seemed to have some sort of radar. You seemed to know what was going to happen in the game before anybody else did, or what others were going to do before anybody else did. And I think you're probably right. I think the experience playing other people for so long that nobody else had was a huge head start.
Yeah, I mean, I think my brain kind of naturally works in that way. So it was maybe a little bit further along than even someone like my brothers, as an example.
Were you kicking their butts early on?
In the very beginning, my older brother used to beat on me, and that was because he was using a mouse and keyboard, and I was just using a keyboard to control. Then I quickly learned, after getting beat down, I had to use a mouse as well. And basically, as soon as I switched to mouse and keyboard, I started beating them up. But they were still, my older brother was still considered one of the top 10 players in the world.
Oh, he was competitive too.
Playing. He was, yeah. He was really good too.
What's his name?
His name's Lyle.
Lyle. And do you guys, when you get together for Thanksgiving, you still play games against each other?
He stopped playing against me.
Gotcha.
He's got he's 3 years older than me. Older brothers don't like to lose to the younger brothers. So Yeah.
It reminds me of chess-playing families. There's the same thing happens in families where the father's into chess, teaches his kids to play chess, and often one of the siblings becomes really good. Often not the oldest sibling, I think, and takes it on professionally. But at the time, nobody thought there was any market for professional gaming. I mean, that was unheard of, right?
Oh, yeah. I certainly didn't aspire to be a pro gamer.
Did your mom shout at you and say, get outside, get some fresh air, study math?
Oh, all of the above. I mean, shout is being very nice. I mean, yeah, she was not very happy about it. I would say, because I won my first really big tournament in 1995.
How old were you?
I don't know, 17 or something like that.
So you're pretty young. Okay.
It was Microsoft sponsored. It was like 10 grand worth of stuff.
Wow.
That didn't really convince her. And actually my mom was okay about it. My dad basically practically disowned me for a while.
No kidding.
Not quite, but he was really not happy that we were playing games that much.
Did he want you to follow in his footsteps and become, like an engineer?
Yeah, engineer, finish school, which neither my older brother nor I did. When I won the Ferrari, that kind of slowed him down a little bit and kind of put me in his good graces for a little while. It took a while for my dad in particular, to get over that. Even when I was, I was making pretty good money. I was making over 100 grand a year being a pro gamer.
Wow.
Part of it is because I was literally the only pro gamer in the world. So.
You had the entire purse was all going to you.
Yeah, exactly. So it took a while for my dad to really come around.
So many kids look to you because moms always say, what are you going to do, play video games for a living? And they say, well, yes. And it's you. It's your fault.
It is my fault. In the early days, it was definitely my fault. Now, I mean, with Dota 2, with a purse of 10 million, I think...
it's established now. Twitch just got sold to YouTube for over $1 billion. Yeah. It's established. And really, a lot of what you were doing, Twitch is kind of the natural successor to that,
people used to do it all the time. They used to watch my demos and recordings.
Do you wish you'd kept doing that? Maybe you would be PewDiePie.
No. I think I'm not interesting enough to be to have my own show. Not like you.
I don't know. No, I'm not that interesting, but I'm smart. I get people like you on, Dennis, and then I'm okay. Here's a picture of you in '97 at Comdex. You're at the AMD booth, and they would pay you to go, show off in the AMD booth, killing people in Quake 3.
Wow, I used to look like that, huh?
That is where now you look younger. This is the first picture I found.
I actually do think I look younger, right?
We finally found one. Because you are a kid. You're like 18 there, something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so to answer your question, companies like AMD would pay me thousands of dollars to show up at a trade show for a couple of hours. Sign autographs, take on all comers, whatever. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, no kidding. Did you contemplate going to college, or did you just not even? You just said, "I'm going to pursue this until it ends, and then I'll go to college."
So my brother and I decided, I was making over $100K a year, being a pro gamer, and we really wanted to start a website dedicated to gaming. Because this was early days of the gaming or the internet really, where you could just go online and register pretty much any URL you wanted to.
Oh, those were the days.
So my brother and I went on and registered gamers.com for like $15 or whatever it was. And we're like, we should create a website that was by gamers for gamers. And my name was pretty well known, so we knew we could get people to come to the website. Sure. We didn't drop out of college to be a pro gamer. We dropped out of college to go start a company.
I think that's fair. In fact, I dropped out of college, but I didn't start a company. I just kind of hung around for about 20 years. So I think that's fair. But mom and dad's still a little skeptical of the whole thing.
Oh, actually, that was really what pissed my dad off, was just dropping out of college. Yeah, no, I mean, I've been really fortunate and lucky, and had a couple of successful companies.
You've done so well.
And my dad, after every single one, literally, he says, "So you're going back to college, right?" I'm 37 now, and he still says, "Hey, you're going back to college, right?"
When are you getting that degree?
God.
Get it? So that's pretty funny. You sold to Viacom for how much money in 2006? Was over 100 million, right?
Yeah.
When are you going back to college? This thing is never
did
gonna.
Say that. I'm not even joking.
This thing is never gonna.
And yeah, I said, Dad, I speak at Stanford Business School and
I'm teaching.
Cal regularly.
I'm teaching college now, Dad. I'm teaching.
He's like, well, you should go back. He's still not quite over it.
Henry, stay in college. My son is standing right there. Thresh is no example for you. Stay in college. No, it's great. A lot of kids say, wow, this is what I would love to do is play video games. But see, you were smart because you played games. You were brilliant. I mean, there's no question you were. In fact, do you think sometimes you look at the situation today and say, I could get in there and hang in there with some of the best of them still? You have a knack for it.
I think I'd do okay.
Yeah.
I think I'd be maybe in the top 100.
Come on.
I think it requires a single, as you get older, you just have other interests.
Right.
I think that's probably fundamentally the problem is, your time is a little bit more, you just don't have it's not even it's just, you just don't want to sit in front of a computer for 12 hours straight practicing.
Right.
So
and it does take that.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. But see, you were smart in the sense that you took your name, your reputation, and you were able to parlay it into businesses and really create something of value well beyond just the ability to play video games well.
Yeah, no, I, again, was pretty lucky being, pro gaming wasn't a well-known thing at the time.
Did you feel like, boy, I better take advantage of this now because who knows how long this is going to last?
No, I mean, honestly, I actually, again, because there was no such thing, I never actually even aspired to be a pro gamer since there was no such thing.
Right.
We've always, we actually, because we were involved in the internet so early, we always wanted to start a website, actually. So about
interesting.
gaming. So it just kind of, it was a confluence of things that just kind of, we just got really lucky and fortunate that all of those things were happening around the same time. And, with the money I was getting from pro gaming, it enabled us to start a company without basically eating ramen and just scrounging by. We could do things properly. And then just things worked out from there, But, honestly, if we had just registered like 100 of the URLs at the time, we probably would have made more money. Because we literally went online and registered gamers.com.
You could get anything. In fact,
you could literally get anything.
Kevin Kelly just wrote a great article in Medium in which he pointed out that, in 1995, he spoke to ABC and he said, you really should get abc.com. And they didn't. They didn't.
Man.
They still don't have abc.com. And at the time, you could get any name. And you're right. Had any of us known, we would have registered all those great domain names, and we could retire.
Yeah.
Let me. We're gonna. I know you don't. You probably don't. Well, maybe. Do you mind being known as Thresh, as the king of gaming in the earliest days of gaming? Does that bother you, or
not at all?
No. Let me show you. This is Quake E1 M2 Castle of the Damned. You are playing Entropy for John Carmack's Ferrari. What Ferrari was this? What model?
It was a 328 GTS that was completely souped up.
Is this your point of view that we're seeing here?
It is, yeah.
Now, you've done, so the first thing you did, and we skipped ahead in this is on YouTube, is you did a speed run, you got all the good stuff. You've got the rocket launcher, you've got the best armor. He doesn't.
So the goal of these games, I mean, even today, is control. You want to control the best items, the things that are a little bit more overpowered, and keep him away from them once you have control of them.
That's the armor spawn point. Are you waiting for the armor to come back there, or?
Yeah, because I want to make sure he doesn't get it.
Yep.
And then at that point, you're just chasing him around because he's really weak without having any of the good items.
At this point, he knows he's dead unless he stays away from you.
Correct. Yeah.
And this is, by the way, this is the final round. How many people did you and Entropy beat to get to this point? I mean, there's a lot,
Thousands.
and there's lots of
Tens
people
thousands.
watching, right?
Yeah, this was at E3. Like literally, as I'm playing this right now, when you see my point of view, in the reflection of my monitor, I could see the Ferrari.
Oh.
So it was kind of like it definitely psyched me out a little bit having it right behind me.
Was it? So it must have been a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I mean the funny thing is, what I'm known for as a gamer is I don't really get nervous.
You're calm.
I'm pretty. Yeah, it doesn't really bother me. And actually, as I was playing this, I wasn't very nervous. But near the end of it, when I realized that I had won, I was looking and staring at the reflection of the Ferrari in my monitor, and it kind of freaked me out. And I got really nervous at the end.
It's a monitor. I see this Ferrari over my shoulder. Wow. I mean, at this point, though, you're so dominant. I mean, you know that at this point, all you have to do is maintain the strategy of keeping the armor, keeping the rocket launcher, and he's just going to be out of luck. Keeping ammo. There's some more health.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's just running for his life. There, you get the armor again. You know this level like the back of your hand.
Yeah, this was actually one of the very original Quake levels that came with, like, I think it was when there was the Quake Alpha or Beta that they released.
Yeah. No, I recognize it, absolutely. I mean, anybody who played Quake knows exactly where you are and what's going on. It's not a very big level either, which is helpful to you because there's nowhere for him to run and hide.
Yeah, it was game over once I got control, basically.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch this, actually. This was when Quake came out. The same thing as with Doom. When Doom came out, it was like, wow, games can be like this. And then Quake came out, and these guys are amazing. I mean, what they did was unbelievable. The excitement of playing this was beyond belief. But people like me, we'd get in there in the online. I would play single player because we get in the online thing, and people like you would just crush us. It's still that way. It's the 12-year-olds get in there and they just crush you.
Yeah, I mean, it's different now when everyone's grown up with these kind of games.
Right.
You
were thinking of strategy way before anybody else was thinking of strategy.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah, nobody. You were the first to come up with this idea of doing the speed run, getting all this stuff, and it was just. I mean, obviously, Entropy should have done that. Did he not know, or were you just faster?
So I think everyone understood that strategy, but once the challenge there is just once you have control, not to lose it, not to make a mistake where you give up the control.
Right.
And if you're the other guy, you're trying to take it away from him, right? So, basically what I was known for is just having that control and never losing it, never making a mistake that would cost me the control of that. That's why I was able to go 5 years. I never lost a tournament.
What? You never lost?
Yeah, never lost a tournament.
Holy cow. That's domination, unheard of in almost any sport. That's incredible. Do you consider this a sport?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially the way it is today. It's clearly one.
You have to stay in shape to be good at this stuff and things like that?
Yes, absolutely.
Because there's stamina, there's
reflexes.
Yeah. The ability to keep your focus is really a physical thing in many ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of what made me want to quit as well. Is when you play that much, you get carpal tunnel, and there's kind of sports injuries that come along with all that practice.
Right. You must have very early on. You must have started to feel it in your wrists and your.
Oh, I had a pretty bad case of it. Actually.
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does that what caused you to
just play through it?
You play through it, the pain?
Yeah, you just play through it.
Wow. Did you have a trainer to give you cortisone shots and tape you up?
No.
And say, get in there.
No.
It's like professional football players. In a way, this is very repetitive because it's you just keep rocket launching him to death. Go back, get some more ammo, get the armor, and he's got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically running around naked practically, and I'm fully loaded. So
it's your worst nightmare.
I tried to make him feel better actually, because the score was 14-1. In a final, and what I was trying to get people to understand is that it just looks worse than it is.
Right.
situation.
It's inevitably completely lopsided because of the way the game is set up. There aren't enough. I mean, I imagine later in later years, when you get to Unreal Tournament and later versions of Quake and so forth, they put more stuff in there so that you have a shot at it.
Yeah, that's definitely the case. But I mean, you still, it's similar to sports. Sometimes you just have momentum, and things happen.
Wow. Did you win cash plus the Ferrari? Because that's a big tax bill on the Ferrari.
Yeah. So actually, it was a funny story. John Carmack came up to me afterwards because I've been the champion of all of his games, basically.
Yeah. He must be a fan.
He came up to me. There was no cash as part of the prize, and he actually asked me how, because the E3 was in Atlanta that year. So he asked me how I was getting the car back to California. And
I was like, money for gas.
I have no idea. And
how much? It's like 6 miles a gallon on that thing?
No, it was like 10.
10, okay.
And so he says, okay, just wait right here. And he left and he came back and handed me a big wad of cash.
Oh, that's a nice guy.
Yeah, it was super nice of him.
Have you stayed in touch with him?
I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah. Was it Carmack that went to work for Oculus, or was it I think it was Carmack that went to work for Oculus.
Yeah, that was Carmack.
Can you imagine playing this in a virtual reality headset?
It would be amazing, actually.
Would it? You'd like to? Have you tried the Oculus Rift?
I have tried it, but not extensively.
When they get that wired up to a game like this, then you got something. I would throw up in the first 5 minutes.
I know. I made too.
Did you ever have nausea from the head bob, stuff like that?
No. I never had that problem.
Yeah. Well, I would guess not. We're almost to the end here of this tournament. There's just a few seconds left. You're about to vanquish Entropy. 14 kills. -1 means he blew himself up once.
Yes, that is exactly what happened.
That's kind of humiliating. He had the rocket launcher, but he fired it to the wall. That's what always happened to me. That's how I know. We're talking to Dennis Fong, Thresh. Here he is on the screensavers, I think in a couple of years later, showing us how to play
strafe jumping. What is that?
Quake.
Well, strafe jumping, I mean, it's...
Look at the monitor.
Some people call
You're
it
playing on a CRT.
Only with all the Quake engine games. And essentially what you can do as you're
What fun. We'll have more with Dennis in just a bit. In fact, we'll talk about what he's up to these days. It ain't strafe jumping, I can tell you that right now. Our show today brought to you by Prosper. I think this is a really interesting idea. There's so many cool startups now coming up with great ideas, and very often these startups succeed because they take something that exists and they use the internet to eliminate friction, to streamline it. This is an exact example of what Prosper has done. It's called peer-to-peer lending. Instead of going into a bank, you put on a tie, hat in hand, say, please, sir, could I have some money? You are paired with people who have money to lend as somebody to borrow, and Prosper facilitates the transaction, makes it all legal, and it works so well. Imagine what you would do if you could have $35,000 in the next 3 days, just like that. Would you pay off those high credit cards? You should. Those high interest rate credit cards, get rid of those. Maybe do a little home improvement. Hey, you could start a business. Prosper offers fixed-rate loans. They can be multi-year. There is no collateral required. They're unsecured loans. They are really great. And all you have to do to find out what your rate's going to be is go to prosper.com/twit. The form is very simple. They're not going to ask a lot of personal information. It will not affect your credit score, and they will give you a rate. And I'm telling you, it's great rates. And these are fixed rates. They're not going to go up. There are no outrageous fees. And you never have to set foot in a bank. Prosper has more than 2 million members, lenders and borrowers alike. They've funded now over $1 billion in loans. This is a successful startup. They've done really well. We invite you to try Prosper if you're looking for a little cash to start your business, to pay off your loans, or pay off your debts, your credit cards. Prosper.com/twit. And for a limited time, Prosper is offering Twit viewers a $50 Visa prepaid card when you get that loan. Go to prosper.com/twit. Just for you, a special site, up to $35,000 in 3 days, and a $50 Visa prepaid card. What a great idea! So you started with your brother. I didn't know you did it with your brother. That's kind of cool. It was originally Gamers.com, and then it became then Firing Squad. Is that, or was Firing Squad the same thing or different?
It was a different thing. So we had
Okay.
gamers.com, which included Firing Squad.
I remember
we then
Firing Squad. We used to go there all the time.
Yeah, I used to write a bunch of articles, from the Thresh perspective, basically. And then, I think Firing Squad was back in the day, which still applies today. We're trying to bring the merger of hardware and software, or hardware and games. That intersection drives, the PC gaming industry. So having, the top gamer talk about hardware was really what the core of Firing Squad and what it was about.
It absolutely is true still today, because the only thing really nowadays that puts any demand at all on the very sophisticated hardware you can buy is a game.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still actually even more so today than maybe even back then, which is, largely what we are doing at Raptr, is trying to further that and make that better.
Well, let's talk about Raptr. So what is RAPTR? Is it raptr.com?
It is, yes.
What are you doing there?
So Raptr is a PC gaming application that when you install it, number one, detects all the games you have, all your hardware, and then what it can do is recommend what the optimal settings that you should be running your games at.
Oh, very
So
clever.
to make it look the best that it possibly can and run it at a really high frame rate. And then the second thing, the really cool thing that actually we're really known for is now this game video recording function, which is what you see on the screen there. This actually goes back to my Thresh days. People love watching each other, right? Twitch has become really popular playing games. And what we do with our GVR functionality is we make it so that you can record your gameplay without slowing down your PC at all.
That's the key, of course. You don't want to have lousy gameplay while you're recording yourself.
Yeah, actually, like 99.9% of people don't record their footage while they're playing because they don't want it to slow down their machine. And we're able to do it through a technology called hardware video encoding, where all the processing is moved to the hardware, to the GPU. So what would normally slow down your machine by 20, 30% if you're running something like Fraps to record video, you can record it, and it'll, in a lot of cases it has 0% impact at all. In some cases, like 1 or 2%. So basically, there's virtually no impact in your performance. And what that enables is actually really, really cool. So we've built we call it Gvr Technology, which essentially is like a game DVR, where it's always recording your gameplay. And it buffers the last 20 minutes. And so the idea behind it is you're recording your gameplay all the time, and whenever something really cool happens, like a really cool or funny moment, or you pulled off some epic maneuver, or your friend does something really stupid, you just click save, and it'll save what we call an instant replay of it. So it captures the last 15 seconds, and that actually is user configurable, so you can save up to 20 minutes. But you can just hit a button. So every time when you're playing, anytime something cool happens, you hit a button, you save the 15-second clip. At the end of it, you click a button, and it'll upload it and share it on YouTube and Facebook and Raptr and all these other places. And kind of like a lot of the social services, you can hashtag your video. So let's just say, I'm playing my buddy. He does something stupid. There's a friendly fire accident. I can hashtag it friendly fire, my buddy's name.
Look, Entropy just shot a rocket against the wall.
And then bam, it's up there, and both share to your friends, your Facebook or Twitter if you want to, and of course on the Raptr community as well.
That's a lot of sophisticated technology to record the game continuously without slowing it down. How do you do that?
So as of basically 2 or 3 generations ago, in terms of video cards, so video cards that came out maybe 3 years ago and earlier, they come with a special type of technology on the chip that enables this. But really,
that's interesting.
Almost no software programs have taken advantage of it at this time. So we're basically the first to do it. We support both AMD and NVIDIA cards, and we use that to basically capture gameplay footage. So you can use it both for the instant replay feature that I talked about, just regular start and stop manual recording, and of course streaming to Twitch as well. You can stream to Twitch at 1080p without slowing down your machine as well.
That's interesting. So a few years ago, both AMD and NVIDIA realized that this recording of video games was going to be a feature everybody wanted, and they started putting hardware in to do that.
It wasn't specifically around gameplay video capture. It's actually around video capture, period. You know, I don't think it was specifically around Twitch or recording gameplay, but you know, video in particular and rendering that and encoding it on your computer really taxes your CPU.
Absolutely.
So, you know, they had the foresight to basically move that into the hardware itself.
Is this what NVIDIA calls shadow play? Is this the shadow play feature?
Yeah, NVIDIA has a version for NVIDIA cards called Shadow Play, which is effectively similar to our GVR functionality. We just take it a little bit further by making it easy to share and upload it as well.
And of course, you can capture live to Twitch too.
Yeah, you can stream live to Twitch, but you know, it's kind of like, I guess I think of it as the enabling tech is kind of like your camera on your phone. Every smartphone now has a great camera. But it's, you know, just because you have 1,000 pictures on it doesn't make it interesting. What makes it interesting is when you actually start sharing those pictures that you've captured to your friends, your family, and community. So, you know, we that's what we've enabled. That, you know, actually, I don't think there's anyone in the world, any other product in the world that does that right now.
Congratulations, that's cool. Actually, Xbox One, but you only get like 30 seconds. You could say upload that, and so it's just the last 30 seconds. But similar idea. It'd be nicer if it were a little longer than 30 seconds, but yeah, you
could save hours up to 20 minutes. It's user configurable.
That's really neat.
But yeah, it's actually very similar to the console technology. And in fact, the consoles, they use AMD hardware in them, and they're actually leveraging the exact same hardware to enable this on the consoles. We just focus on the PC.
So this is free?
Completely free.
How do you make money on this?
We don't really right now.
Your father's going to tell you to go back to college if you're not careful, Dennis.
You know, I think primarily it'll be through advertising at some point.
Right. At this point, building a great product is more important than figuring out how you're going to monetize it.
That's
is that
what
true?
we believe, at least.
Yeah, one hopes. Well, but you look at Twitch. I mean, $1 billion. That must be very validating when you see that you know, YouTube come along and say, "Hey, you're worth $1 billion." YouTube itself was just a little more than $1 billion. That's very validating to this whole idea of live gaming, of watching people game.
Yeah, I think what Twitch has proven, and YouTube to a large extent as well, is that watching other people play is interesting.
Yeah.
We're not trying to replicate Twitch in any way. Twitch is like more for like premium broadcasters, kind of like yourself, where you're broadcasting to many. You know, a lot of times you're a celebrity or there's something really interesting or entertaining about you. What we've built, and it's like live kind of synchronous video. In our case, it's actually more about you and your friends.
It's more sharing these to your friends.
Yeah, it's, you know, 15-second, 30-second clips. We call them instant replays.
Yeah.
Make it super seamless to share it. And, you know, it's kind of like, just make it really easy to share something. So it's more like the ESPN SportsCenter highlights version of Twitch.
Oh, I like it.
That's also asynchronous. So it's not about synchronous, and it's not about one-to-many. You can take it's not about you just pulling off an amazing maneuver necessarily. It's also your buddy does something really stupid and you can rip him for it the next day.
It's about humiliation as well as bragging.
Like the way we think about it is, you know, the reason we play games is for these moments, these memorable moments. And that's usually what you talk about the next day with your buddies. We're trying to capture that, make it easy to capture it and share it so that you can build a social experience around those moments as well. So it's not just about the act of capturing it, it's also the act of sharing it.
I think that's smart. And I see so many people. I had a kid call the radio show yesterday. I want to do a Minecraft channel of me playing Minecraft on YouTube. And I think he was very focused on becoming a celebrity and making money doing it. And I think for really, you nailed it. It's much more interesting to have a community, to do it within your community and your buddies and your friends and do it together. That's a long-lasting, satisfying experience. So few people are going to make it. You know, the next PewDiePie, I suppose, is out there, but that's 1 in a million.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think both. There's clear use cases for both.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I didn't tell the kid don't do it. I said, go ahead. Here's how you do it. And from now on, I'll mention Raptr. because that's a great solution. That's fantastic. So what's next for you? Do you think is it virtual reality? Are you interested in kind of pursuing that kind of arena?
I mean, I think it's certainly an interesting arena. I don't really get into things just because I think it's interesting. I tend to like to do stuff that I'm really passionate about.
Okay.
Because then it doesn't really feel like work.
Right.
So, I think I've been a PC gamer since basically PC gaming started.
Right.
So Raptr at this point is my dream job, working on stuff that makes the PC gaming experience better.
And do you still game?
Of course, yeah.
What do you play these days? Don't tell me Kim Kardashian Hollywood, because I'm gonna...
No, I play League of Legends.
League of Legends. I see a lot of League of Legends on Raptr, actually.
It's our number one game.
Yeah.
But it's also the number one game in the world. So
is it really?
Surprising. Yeah.
I didn't. I'm way out of this here. Is it a MMO?
League of Legends is what they call a MOBA. So multiplayer online battle arena, I think is what it stands for.
No wonder you like it. This is just Mortal Kombat in a bigger arena. That's all.
Yeah, it's that's all the pro gaming. The majority of it is centered in these kind of games. So Dota 2 as well as League of Legends are very, very similar games.
It looks a little like just the battle parts of StarCraft, kind of.
That's actually not a. I mean, it's similar. It's 5-on-5. But I mean, I think League of Legends has 75 million monthly active players now.
Holy cow!
Yeah, I mean, that's like the size of some countries, basically.
Yeah,
it's huge.
StarCraft was dominated, I think, by the Korean players. Is it the same with League of Legends? Is it South Korea that really dominates, or is it a variety of?
South Korea has been pretty dominant in the international scene.
Yeah.
China also has been.
Oh, they're coming on
there.
strong, aren't they? Yeah.
A China team won the Dota 2 championships recently, and each of the members in the team took home $1 million.
Holy cow!
Yeah, that was.
And that money comes from
crazy.
the fact that so many people want to watch these. Is that it?
Yeah, that's right.
So YouTube money or whatever advertising dollars. That's pretty impressive. Wow.
That doesn't even include all of that. That was just purely the prize pool for the tournament.
Right.
The prize pool in the tournament in total was $10 million.
Shiminy.
But the first place team won $5 million. To give you a sense of how far and quickly it's grown, I believe last year that exact same tournament had a prize pool total of $1 million something. This year, the first place team, each person took home $1 million.
Wow.
So it's grown 10x just in a year.
Wow. Is there a lot of strategy in League of Legends? What's the strategy like?
I mean, it's incredibly diverse, which is what makes it really interesting.
That's why people like it. Yeah.
Yeah, and because it's a 5-on-5, and with the rise of Twitch, I think they're all kind of helping each other kind of move forward. It's kind of like, I think of Twitch as like, if you're into basketball, having a GoPro camera strapped to LeBron James's chest every time he plays.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah, and while he's in practice or whatever, you can watch him and you can ask him questions and he'll actually answer it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of what makes Twitch so popular, and that's what makes that feeds the pro gaming teams, because now they have thousands and thousands of people watching them, and makes them more popular, makes them more attractive to sponsors, and et cetera, et cetera.
What do you do about the copyright issues? For instance, I'm sitting here with a Watch Dogs replay that is blocked because it contains content from blah, blah, blah. One or more have blocked it in your country on copyright grounds. It's the same problem YouTube. Well, this is a YouTube video, so it's, you would think these companies would understand that one of the reasons League of Legends is so popular is because people are watching these videos, getting good at it, and then participating. This is advertising.
Yeah, I think most game companies are starting to come around. There's clearly some that are still not quite getting it.
Mind-boggling.
When you have a replay video that's 15 seconds long that has over 1 million views, someone that's not even into the game may watch it and
buy the game.
And buy the game, exactly.
Yeah. Any games coming along that you're excited about, the new games?
Destiny looks pretty hot.
I've been playing the beta of that. It's fun.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to try it yet, fun. But honestly, I still have fun playing. League of Legends is incredibly fun, and because it's multiplayer and you play with your friends,
Right.
every game session's different. So
I'll
I
have to
still
try
have
it.
fun playing those.
I'm gonna have to try it. Destiny. It's funny when you play Destiny, you realize how much we really, as good as the graphics are, the gameplay is not so very different than Quake and Unreal. We're still first-person shooters haven't progressed a whole bunch past that point. Maybe it's because it's perfect. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have any complaints. I think it's
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I guess Titanfall maybe is quite different.
Titanfall's interesting.
with the
It's still a
mechs.
first-person shooter, but suddenly you get a mech and
Yeah.
it changes the game in the middle of the game. Your strategy has to change. So that's kind of interesting, I guess. And how about your dad? Has he finally given up on trying to get you to go to college?
He's given up. I think he still would probably like me to. I think my only shot now is to get an honorary degree from Cal or something like that. But because at 37, I don't think there's any chance I'm going back at this point.
But the thing is, he must understand you're such a success. He must understand that you've threaded a needle that many cannot thread, which is you look at, they call you sometimes the Michael Jordan of video games. You look at so many major athletes who've created a name, they end up selling cars at a car dealership because they can't figure out how to make that next leap, parlay success here into success here into success here. And you've done that so beautifully, so perfectly. It's really in a way, it's like watching you play Quake as you leap from place to place. You've done such a great job. I congratulate you on your success.
Thank you. That was very eloquently spoken.
You're playing life like you played Quake. Tell your dad that, okay?
That's a good one. I'm going to try it.
All that strategy. But you must have incredible twitch fibers in your muscles. You must just really be in your brain. Are you ADD at all, or are you very focused?
I'm extremely focused, actually.
Interesting.
Very single-minded.
Yeah. That's probably very key. That
Yeah, I
ability
don't multitask very well, but
Right.
I don't think most men do anyway. So.
No, this is the worst part. We think we do, and then we screw up everything. It's like when I carry out the trash, I try to carry like 8 bags because I don't want to make 2 trips. Bad idea. Dennis, always a pleasure to talk to you. You were fun back then in the days of the screensavers as a early 20s. And I'm very inspired by how you have kind of seen how gaming has evolved and used your passion for gaming to create some great businesses. I wish you luck with Raptr, raptr.com. If you're making videos for your friends of that great kill or their stupid move, you probably should have Raptr on your PC. AMD or NVIDIA, you have both, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's great to talk to you. Thresh, have a great day.
All right.
Take care. We do Triangulation every Monday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 1800 UTC. It's nice if you watch, because then I can see in the chat room all the people who love Dennis in there saying, yeah. Then there are those who say, well, I could beat him at Tiny Thief. If you want to be in the chat room, please watch live. If you can't, on-demand audio and video, always available after the fact. We record it so you don't have to. You just go to twit.tv/TRI or iTunes or Xbox Music or Stitcher or wherever you get your podcast. You can subscribe and make sure you get every episode. This is one show you don't want to miss every week because it's always so much fun. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Triangulation. Bye-bye.